Hello and welcome to this episode of Between the Studs. I'm your host Mark. Today I'm joined by Daniel.
How's it going?
And Ben Cossy.
No.
All the way from down under.
Yes. Welcome back.
Yes.
It's been a
Good
while.
to see you on this side of the world.
So nice to be here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Ben has a big YouTube channel. If you haven't checked him out, go subscribe. Lots of great content. Very Bionicle focused, but other great parts packs to be found as well. Favorite line from Ben.
That's right.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
But today we have a fun video and a fun expedition we're planning very soon. We're going to be going back to the year of 2008 to pick our top 6 favorite sets and bring them back to the modern era because we missed out on a lot on what I think is possibly Lego's best year.
Hey, speak for yourself. I didn't miss out on a lot of these sets.
I missed out, Daniel.
I still have a lot of these sets. Put together even.
Well, rub it in, Daniel. Anyway, describe a little bit before we begin. What was your Lego experience in 2008? Were you were collecting, buying? That we would have all been pretty young at that time. Ben, what was happening for you in 2008?
I'm Australian.
Mm-hmm.
The lady at Waffle House this
What?
morning thought I was from Europe, but it's okay.
Okay.
I lived most of my life in Perth, Australia, which is on the west side, and but for 2007 and 8, I was living in Chicago because my dad had work there.
Wow.
And that was 2007. Might have even been 2006 at that point. Was the year I discovered that like Lego certified like brand stores existed.
Yeah.
So this was like a really like formative year for Lego for me, and thankfully the sets were some of the best ever for that year. So it really like solidified me being an AFOL.
Yeah, this was your peak Lego experience.
Yeah. And it was good because I lived in America where all the Lego actually was, because the amount of times that I would want a set in Australia, but it just wouldn't be there, which has kind of been remedied these days, but back then was a lot more of an issue.
It was rougher back then.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like I think it used to take us like maybe 8 months to a year to get like
Normal.
like greengrocer or something.
Yeah.
I think that took ages to come. And that was this year as well. So like it took a while. Actually, no, you know what? I think greengrocer didn't come out to 2009 in Australia. I might be wrong.
So you just got
I don't know.
everything a year later and finally trickled
sometimes
down.
we're a bit better now, thankfully.
That still
but,
hasn't really been fully remedied. I remember around 2020, 2021, y'all were having a lot of trouble getting stuff again.
Still now, it takes us an extra month to get the new CMF minifigures.
Wow.
Some of you guys were all like, "Oh, I just went to Walmart and bought like this and this," and I was
sure
like,
you were just-
"We'll eventually get them."
We're getting them early,
Yeah.
no less.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's
It's
crazy.
crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, glad you were able to experience, at least on time, this year of Lego stuff.
Yeah.
So that's great. Daniel, in 2008, you had some goals, right?
I was pretty prime age. Let's see, I would have been 8, 9, 10, 10 turning 11 that year in 2008. So I'd say prime age. There were definitely some of these that I was pining over in the Lego catalogs that were getting sent out, and then being able to work there. My older brother was also working at a Lego retail store during this time.
Convenient.
So I was able to take advantage of some employee discounts on a few of these. We'll talk about as well. So this was a good time period to be me.
Yeah. You were perfect buying time for both you guys. Seems like that's good.
Yeah.
So for me, I was a young teenager, didn't have a lot of spending money still, but I did get a couple of cool sets. Me and my brother were very into Mars Mission when it came out. That was this year. We also loved Fantasy Era stuff too. We didn't buy as much as we would have liked to, though. I remember just wishing I had spending money to get all these big cool sets.
Yeah.
I don't think it was just kind of like lean time, shall I put it that way. Just didn't have a lot of money to spend. We were playing with what we had. I got a few new ones, but yeah. So not the best collecting time for me. A few years later, I had a job and I had a lot more spending money.
Yeah, cool.
So, but yeah, so just missed the bus on a few things. But thankfully, that's where we're going back in time, is to buy them. So I guess I'll go ahead and get started with one of my first sets. I would definitely pick up in my small space back in the back of the time machine.
Yeah.
This would
Gosh,
be...
we need to get a bigger time machine.
I know, we really need to add a second,
need to get a
a
hatchback.
trailer, something like that. Anyway.
The DeLorean doesn't have a lot of chunks.
No, it does not. We can only fit a few sets in there. But the first one I would put in there is the Troll Warship. This is 7048. And this is from Fantasy Era, of course, very castle-themed set. 445 parts on Bricklink. There's more if you count the figures, which would have been 9 minifigures. So quite a few good collectible figures in there. This also uses the green dragon with armor pieces. I think they would have been like metallic silver armor on the head and parts of the body of the dragon.
One of the most expensive dragons,
it
apart
is.
from Smaug,
I think
imagine.
only Smaug is more. But
I believe this might have been months ago,
Yeah.
but I watched an ABC video recently, which if you're not subscribed to the
There it is.
Where you claimed that was the best Lego Dragon. You liked that more than Smaug.
Yes, that is
Yeah.
for me. That's more meaningful than
Yeah.
Smaug because I do love Lord of the Rings. I love The Hobbit, but that's not more. I like Fantasy Era more.
Yeah,
so,
I understand. I agree.
so that's why that's my favorite Lego Dragon. I don't have him. I've seen him in the store once or twice.
Ooh.
Never been able to buy him because he's still hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
But this boat's awesome. The big fabric sails, great. Like the troll banging the drums. It's just
Right.
perfect.
Yeah, we got. Was it just one of the big ones?
I
The
think one big
trolls,
one
the sand
and a
green?
couple smaller ones too. So and you also have a little a dwarf that's trapped in a net hanging from the mast. It's awesome.
Nice.
So a phenomenal set and a very unique set. Something
And
you
one
don't
Crown
see.
Knight, too.
Yeah, one Crown Knight riding the dragon. He was attacking the boat from Dragonback,
That's right.
which is
The
super
dragon
cool.
had like armor and stuff, like they had tamed it. That's
Exactly.
oh,
The one
that's
good
awesome.
dragon fighting for the good knights.
Yeah.
It's almost like Game of Thrones level cool. You know, it's just
Yeah.
so definitely would get probably more than one copy of this if I could get the chance. It's very expensive now. Looking at Bricklink, they're selling on new sealed for 400 plus. So a lot more than it first came out for. But what do you
Wow.
guys think about the Fantasy Era, the Troll Warship? What do you guys feel about that?
Fantasy Era is the best wave of Castle.
Agreed.
That's a bold blanket
Look,
statement.
Hey, I came all this way.
Hey, all right.
You think I'm playing
For a
around,
penny
Daniel?
in for a pound. All right, let's go. Let's
agree.
get some spicy
I agree.
comments.
I remember when this came out, I desperately wanted it. I had most of the Castle sets from this year, and I think this was kind of one of my like formative years with Castle as well. Like I had like the King Leo Castle and all that sort of stuff, and that was big fun as a kid. But then, then you had Knights Kingdom 2 and stuff, and I loved them.
Yeah.
But like this was where I was like, oh, this is a really good theme. I never bought this. I really wanted it, and I just didn't get it.
It wasn't super cheap back then. I think it was like $100 maybe.
Yeah.
So it would have been like, because there's a lot of other good things to get this year. So
yeah. But I mean, I think the dragon's great. I think the sails are really cool as well, and that's just a nice size to get that for. I think you could easily
were
like
big.
build that into a larger like orc fortress or something. Put it on a wall in a castle or
Giant
something
banner,
like that.
yeah.
But would I bring this back in my time machine? I actually think I'm going to say. I was about to say no, but I might change my mind then.
Ooh.
For nostalgia, maybe. But the reason I'm hesitating is you get a lot of those big boat hulls in it, and as a mock builder,
not useful.
not a fan.
Yeah.
I'd rather build my own version with smaller pieces and stuff
So
like
this
that.
is not a good certified Ben Cossy parts pack. So
for
we need like a big
$400?
stamp.
No,
or something.
yeah,
For modern prices. Yeah.
A Ben Cossy approved parts.
I mean, I'll get the stamp made.
yeah. But like if I were to go on Bricklink and buy like just the dragon, just the sails, and maybe like the figures and a few other parts, maybe I'd
highlights.
use those to build my own version,
Sure.
and I think I'd have a great time.
Yeah.
But still, a phenomenal set, and amazing to be getting like I guess like a pirate themed castle set almost.
Yeah,
that
ocean
seems like a
going,
push, but
yeah.
like
Yeah.
yeah.
Very different from most castle sets.
Yeah.
Daniel, would you put this in there? You have Castle fan at all?
So Fantasy Era, this was right around the year, the time period where I was transitioning from, the point where your parents buy a lot of your Lego to when they start saying you need to start saving your own money and buying your own Lego. So this was a little out of my price budget. So I remember getting other Fantasy Era sets like the Dwarves Mine and some other ones, but this was a little out of my price range. So I did not get it back then, but I think I would pick this up now. I think this one has stood the test of time pretty well, as much as something like, say, the Viking ship or something.
Yeah.
Again, big boat hulls, but a very cool, very prominent display piece, I think.
Yeah,
So
it's huge,
I think
so.
I'd grab one of these and chuck it in our time machine.
Yeah. It's worth the financial side of things at the very least. So,
For sure.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure the dragon by itself is probably already more than
It's a couple
just
hundred.
the retail value of this set, so I'd
For
say it's
sure.
well worth it.
Yeah. Well, Daniel, what's the first set you would put in the time machine to bring back?
Ooh, let's start off with... I'm going to start off with a small one, but a very nostalgic one. We're going to do set 3830, the Bikini Bottom Express from SpongeBob. So this is the little orange fish bus, I guess, or maybe it
Yeah.
was supposed to look like a torpedo or something.
Yeah.
It seems to have a tail, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things where when
I'll
you're a
look it
kid
up.
and you're watching SpongeBob, they were the things that they were, and you didn't always pick up on like what they were meant to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
Like Squidward's house just always looked like Squidward's house. It wasn't until I was older that somebody explained to me, oh, like it's an Easter Island head.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I don't know, maybe it was like a torpedo or something because it had a propeller. I guess a submarine.
Yeah, I was gonna say
because it had a periscope on top.
Yeah,
I did forget about
there's
that.
a little, almost like a tail back to it, but it has
Yeah.
a periscope, so it looked very submarine-esque.
But this was very cool, a nice vibrant colored set, and had a lot of sort of unique parts in it. One of the only sets we ever gotten wheels not in black up until recently.
Yeah.
With those white rubber wheels. We get the cool molded fish head bus driver, which is really nice. A little ticket machine. that had a nice kind of play feature with it. Sort of reminded me of the drink vending machine from the Power Miners Lava Chaz set.
Functional tile dispersal system.
Yeah, a little dispensing tickets. So a fun little set. The porthole windows are also cool. They're almost the same print as the really expensive Santa Fe Super Chief windows that are in red, but these ones are in orange. So an almost identical print. But a fun little play set for a kid that was, about my age around this time.
Oh, yeah. SpongeBob is one of those themes that could definitely come back now and be massively successful.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely. Same with Avatar.
Mm-hmm. So I'm very tempted, but I think this isn't the SpongeBob set that I would bring back from the past. I'd rather get the Krusty Krab or the SpongeBob's house and Squidward's house. So I don't think I'd get this one.
This was about the second or third year of
Yeah.
SpongeBob, so they were getting a little more obscure. It wasn't quite the best year. Sandy's Rocket was another good one.
If I was going for a full SpongeBob collection, absolutely. But as it is, just this particular one, not my first choice in SpongeBob theme. However,
That's fair.
What do you think, Ben?
I'm looking at it on my phone. I remember when this came out, I was excited by the white wheels. I remember as a young, I would have been either a K-foal or a T-foal. I don't remember, but
somewhere in there.
I remember looking on Eurobricks.com and people being like, "Whoa, white wheels!" And I think that was when I was still a little bit young. So I was like, "Oh, this is important. Okay,
white wheels.
I have to learn from these A-foals." But I think it's ironically ahead of its time because today we're looking at the pink tires on that rollerblade set
Or the gray.
on the grey tires on the Technic sets.
Just
Exactly.
within the last year.
Yeah, it's amazing that happened back then. Part of me would want to bring it back just for the tires. Would I spend, how much was it retail? Probably $30, $40 or something.
Probably
I don't know.
not even.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
20, 30.
25.
Yeah, maybe it would be a bad idea to be buying a parts pack for one specific piece. Have I done
Fair
that
enough.
before? Yes. But I love it for the white tires. I love it even for the weird tickets. Just for bus tickets and stuff. I feel like that's a pretty useful piece to have. I'm not a big fan of orange as a color though, and a lot of this set is orange bricks. I haven't even talked about the set yet. I'm purely just looking at this for pieces.
Yeah. Just in the parts.
Hey, no, that's why we're here.
It's good. I probably would pick it up because it would be so cheap back then.
Oh, yeah.
But
We're
would I buy
paying-
it now? Probably not.
We're paying in $2008.
Yes.
So, I mean, this is all
Yeah.
very cheap,
Yeah.
but yes.
So, yeah, I
This
probably
is,
would.
yeah,
'cause
this
I-
is mid-recession time.
Exactly.
So things are nice and cheap.
Yeah.
So no, I love those white tires. For that alone, I think I'd get it. SpongeBob was never really my jam as a kid. It never really grabbed me. But it's fun. It's cool. It's a cute little set. I'm on board with it.
SpongeBob's kind of blocking the middle, but I believe you got 6 of them in the
Yeah.
set. I don't think
Yes.
it was just
I think
4.
that was
And
true.
that probably wasn't a big set. You could fit it in the top, squeeze it in the back
Oh,
of
yeah.
the time machine.
Hold it in your
yeah.
lap if you
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Ben, what's the first priority set you would put in the time machine? What's that going to be?
Well, I have a lot of good memories with Exoforce in general. I love Exoforce. This was the final year for Exoforce. Speaking of looking online and sad memories, I remember the day that there was an article posted on Eurobricks being this will be it for Exoforce. It was the first time. Yeah,
I
as a
remember
kid,
that.
I was like,
yeah.
themes die? No.
They stopped making stuff?
Yeah. But the set I want to talk about, I'm cheating a little. It's kind of two. The first one is 8115 Dark Panther. But if I wanted to pick another Exoforce one, it'd be 8114 Chameleon Hunter. I'm going to talk about Dark Panther first.
Dark Panther, the busts, those are still on clearance.
Yeah, he's a Marvel character. Yeah, that's right.
That just
correct.
retired, right?
Yeah. So I remember there was a moment I was in a Lego store at the Woodfield Mall in Chicago, and I was looking at the Exoforce aisle, dreaming of buying stuff, and a random employee comes up. A random customer, comes up and says, "I'm really looking for this one Exoforce set. I think it's Dark something. I don't know what it's called. My kid wants it." And I remember being like, "You mean Dark Panther?" And she was like, "Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah." And the employee was like, "Wow, you should work here." And I was like, "I should."
And the clouds parted, the sun shone through.
The other cool memory I have with this set, because I remember buying it, it's cool, and it has a really fun play feature where there's a little spider on the back and you can detach it. And, all the sets kind of had that little
Mini drones, yeah.
Yeah, or if you're a Transformers fan, mini cons or something. But there's the Lego designer Mark Stafford. He has a fun story about this where Lego said to him, "You can make this set in one of 3 colors, either red, teal, or purple. If you make it in red, we'll be discontinuing both purple and teal as a color. If you make it in purple, we'll be discontinuing teal." He had to make a choice. So he decided to make it purple so that teal died and, red
Purple
was
lived.
still-
Yeah.
And it upset many AFOLs at the time. And
A
then
teal Exoforce mech would have absolutely slapped.
if you Google it, it's on. He has pictures of it on his his Flickr mark.
The
So
teal
you can
version?
see- yeah.
Wow.
But weird alternate history there, and a fun story because Teal was dead for I want to say like 10 years. It was a while.
A long time.
At least,
and then they brought it back in
About a decade, yeah.
What was the Diner modular building set? I'm blanking.
It was like 2018, 2019.
Yeah. So,
right around there.
Right around 10 years, yeah. So for that, I think it's really fun. I think it's a really clever design too. I always like seeing non-humanoid mechs, just then kind of playing with what could be done. And then Chameleon Hunter was also cool. I kind of just wanted to talk about Dark Panther because of the stories. But if I had to pick like my favorite of that wave, it probably was Chameleon Hunter.
You could probably fit them both in there, I think.
Yeah, we'll cram it in. Yeah. I'll like take out some vital components and put that in instead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We'll end up in the wrong year again.
Yeah. But would you buy either one of those sets and bring it back?
Absolutely. Because I didn't get either of these as a kid, even though I really loved Exoforce. I got most of the first wave, a couple from the second wave, almost none. I don't think we got any from the third wave, just because like time, money. We still liked him, wanted him, wanted to battle with our other Exoforce stuff. Really, especially wanted the Dark Panther. I thought it looked super cool. It was like it's a four-legged, Exoforce mech. It's super cool.
Yeah.
Never got it. Eventually, finally did, and they aren't quite as good to me as the first wave. I think that's like I was playing with the best ones in my opinion, but I would still definitely get more of these because I feel like these are especially the Dark Panthers. You could army build those, a little bit. You could get a couple of them and it makes total sense within the story. So definitely.
Sweet.
And then of course Teal, and Exoforce in one fell swoop. It's just it was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
That's
anyway,
right.
Daniel, what do you think?
I like Exoforce in a more limited capacity, so I think if I was going to get any, I would probably stick more with those early wave ones. So I think I would pass on these ones. I would favor the aesthetics of those early wave ones a little more if I was going to get any.
We were saying before the show, I think the first wave of Exoforce is the best.
Yeah.
It's aged better.
I think I would pass on these.
Yeah.
Let's see,
cool.
back to Mark.
That's back to me. There we go. All right, so we just talked about Troll Warship a little while ago, but let's change things up completely and bring up the. And so we just talked about
every time you disappoint me every time. Mark.
So think of it this way: Teal was dying off, Exoforce was dying off, Belleville was dying off. This is the final last gasp of Belleville.
Let me play you a song on the world's tiniest violin, Mark.
Anyway, Sunset Home
Belleville
was the set.
lasted for how many years?
A long
What
time.
did it start in, like 2001?
No,
or
96.
Was it late end of
96 to 2008.
That's crazy. How long that
So a
was.
long stretch for sure, but a few sets per year, nothing crazy. But Sunset Home set number 7586. It has about 450 parts, give or take. There's a couple figures. And it's just a big scaffolding with some interior details. It's really not an amazing design. It was, I think this is actually like a reissue. It might have been from.
Let's see that full screen.
Or this is, at least elements of this are borrowed from previous Belleville designs, of course. Those big curved bricks, the scaffolding background, all the little fabric and accessory details that would never see the light of day again. Colors that would never see the light of day again. There's some crazy choices going on there with the transparent elements. I love this set. I love all the pieces and stuff within it. I would love to have all the Belleville sets one day, but only have a couple right now. And I know Daniel doesn't like this. So Ben, what do you think about Belleville?
You see, I'm a big fan of watching ABC videos back home in Perth. And whenever you do these videos and you talk about Belleville,
always something.
Everyone else on the panel is like, ugh,
groaning.
Stop talking, Mark. But I'm sitting on my couch being like, that's my boy. I love this set and I love Belleville.
Thank you, Ben.
So why? What a good parts pack.
Exactly.
I said the thing.
Certified parts pack.
Certified Ben Cossy parts pack.
You've got a bed with weird fabric on it, weird pillows. You get plenty of like what appears to be like glitter trans pink bricks. You get the weird creepy Belleville figs. I've seen so many people turn those into like pilots on like mech suits and stuff. All the colors are pink, and those weird. I don't know, what would you call those? Like the weird kind of like grated
the lattice
walls,
lattice panels.
Yeah,
maybe?
Whatever they are.
Yeah,
they're funky.
Yeah, you can fit pieces inside of them. They're really weird and useful. So.
Yeah, it's great. And now I remember people said it with the Simpsons house that they were like, this is one of the best, just like, for lack of a better term, like dollhouse sets.
Yes.
And I feel like this is pretty good too. Like,
it's
even
playable.
like typical system sets, you wouldn't get this much detail. And I guess it's because of the scale of Belleville being a bit taller and stuff. I love it. I think it's great.
There you go.
I remember hearing someone say once that like Scala and Belleville are great themes, but they shouldn't be Lego themes. And I can kind of agree with that.
I see that point. Yeah.
But I love weird Lego, and this is weird Lego, so I'm happy. I would buy 5 of these.
Exactly.
I'd forego all my other picks and just pick that. No,
Just the Belleville line.
Yeah.
There you go.
No, it's great choice. Great choice. Why do you hate it, Daniel? Why do you hate fun?
I'll surprise you on this one. Ever since I got into New Hashima,
Yeah.
I've got more of an appreciation for weird parts. I will humor you, and I will pick up one of these and put it in the time machine.
They're actually not too expensive now, so it wouldn't be like a huge savings compared to some of the other sets.
That's
but
true,
it's
that's true.
still, I mean, for the parts alone, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I will get
Gotta
one.
mention
I'll
it.
get one. That might be was that our first unanimous yes? Did we have one before that?
No, I think we've had some others before. Troll Warship. No,
I'm
you
not
didn't
sure. I
want it.
wasn't
Yeah,
tracking.
so- Anyway, this is a set we can all agree is great and worth bringing back.
Beautiful.
I got it. Anyway, Daniel, let's get that bad taste out of your mouth. What do you want to
All right, let's do it. Let's do another undisputed one here.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about 10185. You already know what it is, the Green Grocer modular building.
Mm-hmm.
This was, depending on who you ask, I would consider it the third modular building in the line because Market Street is an official modular building. You can fight me in the comments. If you don't have Market Street, you're not a modular completionist. An iconic set, one that is maybe not iconic visually for just what it is on store shelves, which is why probably not a lot of people got it. I think it was probably underproduced, but it is a very distinct part of the line now because it was sand green early on, and there was not a lot of sand green at the time, so they were producing a lot of new bricks and new molds in that sand green color, which have become outrageously valuable now because people think, oh, modular building, it's basic bricks, I'll part it together, I'll buy them on Bricklink. Now a lot of those parts just aren't out there. I think is it the 1x8 bricks in sand green?
And
I
the
think
1x2
really
with the
expensive
slot?
one. 1x2 with the slot, which did appear in I think one other set, but it hasn't mattered. It's become
super expensive.
wildly
You
expensive.
also got those 1x4 brown tiles with the Viking symbols on them as
Yep,
well.
the
which are
Viking
crazy
tiles,
expensive
yeah.
too.
And the hinge brick, that sand green base, you know, it's...
So a lot of fairly basic parts in that sand green color, just because they've appeared in that one set, have become wildly valuable. But it is a very nice looking set. It fits in very well with those other early modular buildings, but they're very hard to come by now, either as a set or to part one together. So I would certainly be bringing one of these back, and it may have changed the course of history if I do, that I would have maybe gotten more into collecting all of the modular buildings if I was able to get those early ones at an affordable price. So what do you guys think about that?
Just for financial reasons, this would be an obvious one to stick
Yeah,
in there.
yeah.
But I also, when this set came out, it was hugely inspirational to me and Steven as building. So, like, this is something we looked up to and say, wow, we could build cool city buildings like this. Me and Steven built more city at this time than we did Castle or
interesting.
Pirates. We also liked Mars Mission quite a bit. We made whole scenes, tables across for these themes. And I made buildings very similar to this one, maybe different color schemes, like blue and black were some of the colors I used.
Wow.
But so I would get this just because of nostalgia, if not for how awesome it is and how collectible it is. So, yeah. What about you, Ben?
I definitely would. It's, I don't know. I've never really thought of a proper ranking for modular buildings, but it's definitely like top 5, top 3.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's very good. Also a good parts pack.
It is!
I know that because I had it built and in like my Lego city as a kid for like years, and then eventually took it apart because I wanted the pieces for stuff. And I'm currently trying to rebuild it.
Oh my God.
However,
Okay.
I can't find all the sand green pieces. Me and my dad are trying to put it together, and it's worrying. I don't know where they are.
You might be spending some money on Bricklink later.
Annoying.
Yeah, we
but
might have some
yeah.
here. We have a pretty decent bin of sand green. We might be
Yeah.
able to find some for you.
Well,
if
we
you've got a list of
specifically
what
are
you
trying
need.
to find the 1x2 like profile bricks with a little slot.
With
Yeah,
a slot.
those can be
Yeah.
bad because you need a lot of them.
Yeah. But no, I love it. I think it's great. I've 10 out of 10. No
Squeeze
notes.
it in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. I know the Cafe Corner did not have any interior. Was this the first one
This is
that
the
had a
first
little
one.
bit of interior?
Yeah.
In the, I think just mostly in the first floor.
It's very minimal. I mean, like, the
Yeah.
bottom floor has the grocery store with the beautiful like tiled floor and like the refrigerator. I think there's like a radiator and a grandfather clock on the second floor. or
Yeah,
something.
okay, yeah, that sounds
Plain, but
Yeah.
it's there.
It was a good start to push in that direction
Yeah,
towards
yeah.
doing what we now have is incrably detailed
Yeah,
interiors in these
yeah.
modular buildings.
Yeah, it's crazy to think the first two, because I agree with you. Market Street is absolutely a modular building.
I would agree.
Yeah, the first two just were completely empty on the inside.
Yeah.
And I think it was because they were like, we want you to build stuff inside it, which
Right.
it makes sense, but sure, AFLs today wouldn't like that. Well, some of them, I'd be fine with that. I'll build stuff, but you know.
Yeah.
Still, yeah, great set. 10 out of 10.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, Ben, I think we're back to you with your pick.
Right.
What's the next one
So,
you want to bring?
look, I love Bionicle. You better believe there's going to be Bionicle on this list. The set I'm going to be picking, is the Jetrax T6. Now, this is a set that there are two versions of. There's the normal version, which is black, silver, and blue, and the Jetrax T6, which is yellow. The yellow one was, I believe, a Target exclusive. So very, very... you can see it on the box here. It says limited edition. The picture's really blurry, but it does.
The little seal, yeah.
This is not just a difference in the box or the packaging. This is actually different colored parts in the set. Yeah, wow.
It is literally the same set, just recolored. There are some yellow, like, shield pieces on it, which only come in this and the Toa Matanui set, which is
the big
one of the most expensive Bionicle sets. So just those little pieces are, well, they're not little, they're kind of like that big, but they're, I think, about like $20 each. It's crazy. And it's all because of this set and that set. But I love this because as a kid, I loved the color yellow. It was my favorite color. Now, my favorite color is whatever I'm building with. It varies. But in the comics, I think what it was, I'm always a little rusty with my Bionicle lore, but the ship went like really fast. And in the comics, it like turned yellow when it was going like super fast.
So like blowing hot fast. Yeah, that's awesome.
So it's one of those sets that's based off like 2 panels from a comic. Like, you know, they didn't really need to make it, but they did. But yeah, I love the fact that they decided to do a weird one-off second color copy of it. And also all of the Bionicle like vehicles from that wave were really cool. You go like a nice looking, this is a Makuta, but some of the other ones had Toa in them. And just, a really sick spaceship kind of thing. This one has a cool play feature where the engines like fold up or pop out. It was just cool. Bionicle vehicles were fun, so I like it. But I foresee that I'm the only one who's going to bring it back on my time machine.
I'll go first in case Mark decides to change. I'm going to pass. I think that was what most people expected. That is really cool to know that they were doing retailer exclusive sets with exclusive parts in them. I think that's really uncommon, even for that time period where they were doing more of that weird stuff. I mean, we would get sets that had retailer exclusive packaging, or they might throw extra minifigures in there. I'm thinking like the Harry Potter Durmstrang shit, but I feel like retail exclusive parts
color
is very
swap.
Unusual.
Very different.
Well, I guess we get stuff like the Fiat, but that was more regional exclusive as opposed to
and much
retailer
later.
exclusive.
Like it's almost, I don't know, I can't think of any other examples from 2008 and before where it was just a color swap.
Very unprecedented.
Very unique approach to that set.
So how many are you buying, Mark? 26?
So
how many can I put you down for today?
So I love the first few waves of Bionicle, but once you get too far out, it starts to get a little hazier for me.
He's one of those Bionicle fans.
I'm just not as true a Bionicle fan as I could be.
I'm not one of any of those.
But because this is a rare color, and because I think there's a financial incentive, I think I could squeeze this in there.
Yeah, sure.
I think I could make it happen. But for a lot of those other big vehicles, I would probably have to pass, just because I don't see myself like really wanting that in my collection as much as like the Troll Warship. You know what I'm saying? So I'd prioritize other things in the time machine.
That is the issue with some of those big ships, because I didn't actually end up buying any of these at the time. The reason is that my family and I were going to be going back to Australia.
Yeah, no big sets.
We just didn't have the space.
Yeah.
And I've bought them since. I haven't actually bought the yellow one. I have the other variant. But it takes up so much space in my Lego room. They're just huge.
Yeah.
But like it's cool. Like I'm happy to have it.
They're
but,
neat.
Like,
the play features are awesome too.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah. But,
now, do you think the value of those yellow parts has been driven more by people trying to buy this set to get parts to like rebuild Matanui, or do you think the parts are inherently valuable because people are trying to part together this set, or
which
I'd probably say Matanui a little bit more, because at least there's the other variant.
You think the value of this could have been partially driven by people trying to get those parts?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
I don't know.
They're both rare, so
yeah, exactly.
I guess it depends on how many other Matanui exclusive parts there are that are not the ones that are in this set, and whether or not it would be feasible to actually part one together.
I think it's just the mask on Matanui, but then that's also like $1,000 mask, so it's crazy. Yeah.
Anyway, moving on from that, something that doesn't have $1,000 pieces in it is the Mission 8 Volcano base. And caveat, I never got any agent sets at all.
Why are you on this panel?
I know. Why am I here? But no, that was, I thought they were cool. I'm like, this is really neat. I like the metallic pieces in some of these sets. They're really neat. But I just never got around to it, because if I did have any spending money, it was on Castle or Mars Mission or many other things I was trying to collect at the time.
You can stay on the panel for that comment. That's
there you go. Yeah. So but this is one that we recently did a video on all the secret agent themed sets, and this one we brought it in. We had a built one. I think we might even still have it out there on the shelf. And it's super cool. You got this giant metal door. You got the laser gun. It's like the perfect evil layer base for a villain.
Yeah.
And I really like it a lot. So it would have been set number 8637, 688 parts on Bricklink, 6 minifigures. Yeah, Dr. Inferno is an awesome figure. You got all the agents. I love it. So I think this is a perfect Secret Agent set. And I wish I had a little more time and money back then to collect these. So. But yeah, what do you guys think about agents in general? I know that we ranked them pretty highly on the video in that bubble of Secret Agent sets, but what do you think, Daniel?
I liked agents a lot. Again, this was one of my prime themes. During these years, I was the exact right demographic for this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This was one that I did not have, but I'm sure was on at least a couple birthday or Christmas lists around those years.
Mm-hmm.
I just ended up getting other sets instead. So this was not one I got at the time, but it is definitely one I would bring back now for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the giant laser is iconic. I still like Dr. Inferno, probably even better than like Ogle or some other historic Lego villains.
In a head-to-head matchup, I think Dr. Inferno would win.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
I think he's a better minifigure and everything.
Mm-hmm.
The little agent's helicopter is fine, but I always like villain stuff, villain layers, villain vehicles, villain minifigures.
It's a volcano.
They're cooler. And the drum lacquered silver parts are fantastic in every agent's set. So very nice.
Ben, do you have any feelings about agents?
I loved agents.
Mm-hmm.
I bought, I believe, every single agent set.
Wow.
Not this one though. Unfortunately,
This is the one that's
yeah,
Oh,
but
man.
I wanted it so bad.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the picture here on my phone. I love how there's barbed wire above the door, like the volcano isn't enough to deter people from coming inside.
Right.
Just throw them on there anyway.
Yeah, but no,
Those
I remember
barbed wire pieces are great.
they
too.
are cool.
Gosh,
Yeah,
I need to get more of those.
I remember thinking this was so cool, and I loved all the sort of translucent orange and just the general build of it. And I agree with you. There was something really nice about like villain bases because you didn't really get too many in Lego. You did and you didn't, but like
Yeah.
I loved the helicopter. The dark blue flex tube around there is a great recolor for that piece. Kind of reminds me of some of the helicopters in Avatar.
Yes.
It's a bit of a similar design. No, it's just fun.
Even
and,
I want to say Incredibles had some similar vehicles
Yeah.
that sort of had something like that going on.
I don't know. I like everything about it was just cool. Like I agree because I think we were a pretty similar age demographic at
Pretty
the time.
close,
Like
yeah.
it just ignited my passion for Lego and stuff, and just felt so cool. And I still feel that about it. Yeah, I'd love to pick that up again. That'd be cool. Pick that up back in. You know what I mean?
In 2008 money.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
for
It's
sure.
gone up a little bit now. It's not
Yeah.
not as crazy as some, but it is collectible. So yeah.
That's cool.
Well, very cool. I think is it a unanimous? Yes.
I believe so.
Wow, I'm
Hey,
really doing good on this one. Okay. Well,
Gosh.
yeah, that's
Gosh.
awesome. Yeah. So, Daniel, what's the next one you want to bring up?
Let's see. We are on round 3 here. All right, this one. All right, we're going to talk about our first Star Wars set. This is going to be set 7674, the V19 Torrent. So this is one that I did not watch Clone Wars when I was a kid. In fact, I'm only just now making my way through watching Clone Wars. So I didn't identify with a lot of these sets for a long time, but the first time that I picked one of these up, probably here in the store, and played with the play feature of it, where you can spin the bottom fin around the back, and then there's like these pneumatic pistons in it that cause the side wings to fold up at the same time that you spin that thing around. It was maybe the coolest play feature on a ship that I've ever seen. So this is a really great set. While I didn't, partake in the subject material during this time period, I think this is one that I would want to get now. This was also one that Joe wanted us to talk about for this video.
He feels
Joe
a little
wasn't
left
able to
out
join
today.
us. Yes, so we figured we'd give him one honorific pick. So this is also Joe's selection for 2008. So how do you guys feel about the V19 Torrent?
I also didn't get to watch Clone Wars as a kid, like you, Daniel, but I caught up on it. I've seen it now twice. Working here at the store, you kind of have to know your Star Wars stuff. But this ship
Institutional
is
knowledge.
also one, I think it was basically flown by the clones as their main fighter, and because of that, it's very army buildable, and that's why I think this is super desirable to have at least one example of it. It's like having a modern jet plane from the military. It's like this is like the main battle line thing, and the plate features make it just cherry on top. It's amazing. Those pieces, those pneumatics are also super useful for tank battles. We use those a lot in our tanks, and so I would definitely grab at least one or two of these. So yeah.
There you go.
What about you, Ben?
See, I was the opposite. I was there like the second Clone Wars premiered on Cartoon Network as a
Yeah,
kid.
there you go.
I watched it religiously. I remember being upset because I wouldn't have Cartoon Network when I went back to Australia, and I was like, "How am I going to watch it?"
Oh no, that's awful.
Yeah.
But ironically, because I bought, I believe, every other Clone Wars set, but not this one as a kid.
We're going back. That's
yeah. Time to have a complete the collection. I don't know what it is, because I watched the Clone Wars. I remember enjoying seeing the ship in the episodes. It's even in the Tartakovsky Clone Wars show as well, and some of the scenes where it's in and that are awesome. But I don't know, I always kind of prefer like bases and play sets and stuff. I'm not as big of a sort of ship fan, and I feel like the size of it kind of deterred me as a kid. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to really do with it.
It's a little bulky.
Yeah, and I think the fact you own it, because I think you only got like a clone pilot in it. You might have got another clone with it. I don't fully remember.
It's
the
not figure
selection.
heavy, no.
Yeah. So I think as a kid I was kind of like, like I'm okay.
Get Anakin or something.
Yeah, but I've never actually physically played with the play feature. Do you have one in the store so I can? That sounds awesome.
That was a while ago. We can peek
check
around and see if we got one.
It's possible.
I reckon I'd want to pick it up now, because certainly like the Clone Wars episodes it's in are really fun. The part selection isn't as exciting for me, if I'm honest, but that doesn't mean it's a bad set. You know, like I'm happy to pick up a set for the set, not just the pieces. So.
Did have a fair bit of dark red that probably should have been pre-brittle dark red. This might have been that. This might have been that earlier.
It's safer than some, but
that earlier, more kind of it's almost a milkier dark red that's a little more translucent was usually pretty safe.
Right. The reddish brown during this time was awful, but dark red was a little bit later, I think, or earlier.
Right.
This should be okay, but
This is also the set that always appears on rumor lists when people are like, maybe if I put it out to the universe, it'll come true. Everyone wants the new one of this.
We've heard a couple of these recently, Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, Ben, what's the next one you want to bring up?
I was going to talk about something that related to your pick, but I'll continue the Star Wars trend.
Okay.
I want to talk about 7676. Do you know what that is if I just say the set number? Are you that good?
I recognize it. So,
oh, okay.
Joe knows it by far,
the Republic Attack gunship. So I believe the only other gunship we got was when Attack of the Clones came out. So this was the
2002?
Yeah. So I remember as a kid, I really wanted that, but I wasn't able to get it. And so now for a new one to come out and it be Clone Wars related was so exciting. And like this probably still is my favorite Star Wars ship, and back then it certainly was. And I remember playing with it a lot, and I built it into dioramas and stuff. It was just the perfect set, and I remember being just so well built. It ignited everything that I wanted a set to do for me as like a Star Wars fan. You also had the great stickers, which they peel so easily these days. They don't hold up. But you had the option that you could change out the nose art to have a Kowakian monkey lizard with a missile, or the very suggestive Twi'lek in clone armor, which was a choice for Lego to put on.
At least it's in clone armor, right?
Yeah. Well,
isn't there one where they're like ripping off a battle droid head or something?
Yeah. That's in the
later
one.
That was a later. You're right. That was a dropship.
But the minifigure selection was incredible. You got Asajj Ventress, you got Obi-Wan Kenobi, you got Plo Koon, you got a few different clones and pilots. You got Commander Cody.
Yep, I was about to
say. It was everything I wanted that set to be. Ironically, because I take apart my sets all the time. Very rare for me to have sets still built. This is still built in my collection. I have not taken this
the original
apart.
one.
Yeah. The only thing I've changed out is the stickers. I've bought like a newer one, or which I think I found another Republic gunship in a bulk lot and just swapped him out or something.
Yeah.
But it is still built. It's a very, very fun, very cool set.
That's amazing, Ben.
That's great.
It's great that it survived your entire experience. That's impressive. I would definitely collect this one. I like this one. I actually don't mind the Clone Wars style faces, because if you think about it in the context, they look a lot like the characters from the TV show, so it doesn't bother me as much as some other Star Wars fans. So.
There was something interesting about that too. Justin just brought in the big Star Wars book the other day, and we were flipping through that, and there was a whole page that had a bunch of the different graphic design prototypes for how they tried to capture those Clone Wars eyes with different sizes and different eyebrow positions. So it was interesting to see, again, kind of an alternate history timeline of what could have been for those Clone Wars style faces.
I would grab a couple of these for sure. What about you, Daniel?
I'd probably have to pick up one. This is great figure selection. This was also during the time we were talking about in comparison to that 2002 version, the original Jedi Bob version. This one, I believe, was bigger than that. This one was, this time period, Star Wars sets were using some bigger, chunkier pieces, but as a result, the builds got bigger, as opposed to nowadays we're in a sort of a regression of downscaling sets. So I think that aspect was really nice. So it maybe was not as detailed, but as a kid, you just want a really big ship to fly.
And this is the perfect design for a ship for a kid, because it's like it does all the things. It flies, it shoots, you can jump out of it.
It was probably the most true to what minifig scale should be, as opposed to more of the modern play sets, which are a little cramped.
Just remembered another memory with this. I remember seeing leaks for this back in 2000, probably 2007 at that point, and realizing we were getting Cody and that they were introducing the accessories for the helmets and the waistcoats and the pauldrons and all that stuff. And I was I think was my desktop background on my school computer.
Nice.
Yeah, but I remember this might have been one of the first Lego sets that I was actively hyped for,
anticipating.
And, really excited to buy, and then eventually got and was over the moon by.
Amazing.
That's cool.
Very cool. Well, I'm going to bring all the energy down, and we're going to talk about the Duplo Castle.
Classic Mark.
Just Castle. That's the name of it. There's no The Castle, no nothing. So 4864. I actually find the name Castle to be offensive a little bit, because that's the name of the Yellow Castle. And they have no connection other than the fact that they are a castle. But this is actually a cool set. I didn't even know it existed until just looking through the list of 2008 sets, and this is one that I kind of need now.
Yeah.
I have a piece from it, that cool Dragon Knight shield and the armored knight running towards the castle alone. But yeah, it's got very aggressive looking Duplo figures, some great dark blue elements up at the top, a shootable cannon on the right, which can knock down the wall. So a lot of fun happening here. If I had been a little kid in 2008, this would have been my favorite thing on earth. So I would definitely get it as a Lego Castle fan, and just because of the weird, bizarre nature of it. But this is probably one of my weirder picks in a while, and I'm not sure how you guys will feel about it, but what do you think, Daniel? You're not a big fan of Duplo, are you?
I'm gonna surprise you with this one, I think. So, obviously this was after my time for Duplo, but I feel like around this time, between 2006 and 2008, was when I was actually started going to Lego conventions as a kid. So we're talking early Brick Fair, Virginia. This is also when Brick Fest was happening, not to be confused with Brick Fest Live, the original Brick Fest, which did not exist much longer after that. And I believe I remember at that time buying a lot of just grab bags of parts.
Yeah.
A lot of vendors would sell grab bags, and there were some where I got really cool parts. There was one where I got the original Jabba the Hutt in there, and I think I remember getting some grab bags that had some Duplo parts, because the rest of my Duplo collection was all old stuff from that my brothers had, probably from the 90s or 80s. But I had a lot of these Duplo castle parts, more from the bad guys faction, but the big dark gray stone wall panels, the trap door pieces, some of the knights with the shields and the flags and stuff. So most of what I was doing as a kid with Duplo was building big rainbow mishmash colored castles, but with some of those crenellation pieces around the top, and the trapdoor play features, and a big drawbridge. And so I liked a lot of the parts from this, even for this time period, where it would still be fun to put together a Duplo castle or something. So it looks like you also had a real shooting cannon, which is kind of surprising for the target demographic of Duplo.
Yeah, that looks like watch out, your eye will get a projectile in it. Warning label.
So I think I would pick one of this up. I just have kind of a soft spot for this very short-lived Duplo Castle series that they did. So
yeah, Ben, what do you feel about Duplo Castle sets here?
So good. I want to say I remember seeing it in Lego magazines or something, but I think I really just kind of fobbed it off because I was it's
at the
Duplo,
time,
I don't care, which was a mistake because I'd love to have this now. I did, while you were talking, I looked it up on Bricklink. There's 3 for sale. The cheapest one is $50 USD, but it's missing 5 pieces. The next one's $217, and then there's one sealed for $560.
Wowza.
So I'm not getting it anytime soon.
No.
But
we're traveling back
Not
in
for
time.
cheap
It's fine.
anyway.
Yeah. No, but I think it's great. I mean, looking at the pieces on here, I feel like you could pretty easily use them in system castle stuff like that.
You could cleverly integrate them.
Port
Yeah.
Drawbridge,
yeah.
Those towers look dark tan.
They do.
Oh, I thought they were tan.
in the dark blue tower at the top, that conical shape, that'd be amazing.
Gosh. Look at that, fire.
Yeah.
What was that? Like a brazier or a torch or something?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I don't know if the flag on the kind of lance on the evil knight can come off, but that'd be cool.
They could, yes, because they also went on a flagpole part. It's sort of clipped on the side.
Oh, cool. Okay.
That shield, I have that shield, and
Shields
so it's
cool.
giant, and I use it on a big fig custom figure that I have, so it's great. So.
Yeah, everything about this is great. I don't fully know how it would work, but there's this little part here where the cannon is firing into the castle to take it apart, but it's bricks. I don't imagine that would actually crumble.
I'm sure that's just a
dramatic
artistic license being taken on the box art there. Yeah.
Still, I don't think I've ever said these words before, but this Duplo set is a good parts pack.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
Amazing.
That was sort of an underdog unanimous pick there,
Yeah.
Mark.
Wow,
I think you were
I-
as surprised as anybody.
I was expecting at least one of you guys to say, I don't have room for it in the time machine, but apparently we all really want
That's
this.
true.
so
I'm sure this is a very hefty box.
This would have been a big enough
Bringing
one.
back at least 3 of these between the 3 of us has significantly reduced our remaining capacity.
Unfortunately. But Daniel, what's next on your
gosh,
card
let's
list?
see. Round 4. All right, this is going to be an interesting one. So this was a anniversary set. I believe 2008 was this should have been the 50th anniversary of the brick. I think 2018 was the 60th one. So for the 50th anniversary, they released a modern reinterpretation of the classic town plan set. So this is set
yes.
10184. And really the only part that was directly inspired by the original one was the gas station with this clear round cornered window on the front. It was all branded for Octan now, whereas the original set was very basic. It was pretty much all white, red, and transparent.
Maybe
just
some
stacked
green
bricks.
base plates,
So
yeah.
There was certainly some artistic liberties being taken here, but the gas station was fantastic. They added a car wash and a little garage and some classic-looking gas pumps. Then we also got the movie theater, which is very iconic, using this medium blue and dark red kind of color scheme. A really great sort of curved sign, nice Art Deco look, big marquee, lots of fun references in the movie posters. This sort of inspired my build for the movie theater that's out in the Bricklanta City out there. And then on the right, we had sort of a town hall where there was a couple getting married. A lot of nice dark green parts, even for 2008. And then in the center, we had this fountain with these 3 metallic gold 2x2 bricks, which are, I think, a little more uncommon than the 2x4 bricks, I want to say. But really nice. One of my favorite aspects about this set, actually, is the built red tanker car, which is based off of one of the HO scale, molded cars. So to see that kind of scaled up and built out of bricks is very cool, because I have collected a few of those HO scale cars now. So I do have this set. Currently, I didn't get it originally. A friend of mine had it originally back then, and so I was always envious of the things that my friends had. So I have since collected this as an adult, and it's a really nice part of my collection, because I like these sort of honorific, sort of special sets that Lego puts out every now
Anniversary
and
stuff.
then. Anniversary,
Yeah.
honorable things like that. So it's a very cool set. I love this one. I'm glad that I have it. What do you guys think about that?
Like, I bought this as a kid and loved it so
Yeah.
much, but like looking at it now, if they released, even if it was exactly the same, if they released this today, I feel like this would be a dream set for some people, because like it's like a Lego City battle pack, you know, like you buy it and suddenly you just have a city. I remember doing that myself. Like I just, any iteration of a Lego City that I had always had this in it, and it just added so much to it. It's just a really good set.
Yeah, they're all half buildings. They're facades mostly, but there's play features on the inside. The movie theater had a little projection screen area, and I think a snack bar counter or something. So.
One issue, of course, and I guess it's just this year, the stickers kind of peel these days, which sucks. It's not as easy to find it in good condition, but like, I don't know, everything about that's just amazing.
We do actually have one of these built in the store right now, so if you're looking for one and want to build one, you could hit us up. I think we got one out there.
And it's 20% off right
That's
now
true.
if you buy it now. So.
I haven't closely inspected the stickers on it, but I want to say that they were not as
Decent?
bad as some other ones. that
Yeah,
I've seen.
passable.
Yeah.
I do love the box art, how it has...
Yeah.
Like
Keld.
his name,
Keld.
Yes, yeah.
Keld.
Because the original one had him as a kid on it, so then it's
Correct.
just him aged up.
Yep.
Although I'm sure there's some people who don't know the history. They're like, "Why is there just like an old dude on the box?"
What's this old guy on the box?
Yeah, the original one. I
they're
think those
targeting old
original
people
sets.
then? Yeah.
He was wearing it's sort of like a brown plaid shirt, I want to say. So I think he
Yeah.
was on a few different sets, but the original version of this was one that he was on. This was the original one that I think had that sort of Samsonite like playmat thing that it sat on. So a very cool set, and really nice that they put him on the box art next to a picture of the old one. And then the instruction manual, also in the first few pages, it was in several different languages, but it was like a letter from Kjeld talking about the history of the company and things that they were doing for that anniversary.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable value for what you got. And that's what I reckon.
Yeah.
I definitely.
Oh
pick it
gosh,
up.
I don't remember what the retail was, but it was probably like $180 or
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
for all of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, that would be like a $400 set today.
Oh,
yeah,
easily.
In 2008 money, I would definitely go get one. Now, I think I've deviated too far from the city to circle back and get this one. There's so many other things I need to get, but it's cool. Yeah, I would definitely squeeze one in there. So,
Sweet.
yeah. All right, Ben, I think you're next on the list.
Oh, that's right.
Well, we all knew this moment was coming. Small Bionicle.
right.
So,
Color me surprised.
I want to talk about 8699 Takanuva. So Takanuva was a character that had his own movie back in 2003. I'm always rough with dates, but this was his like new version, and the original Takanuva was maybe like this big. This Takanuva was like this big. It was much bigger, more impressive.
Upgraded.
Yeah. And I remember getting it. It's incredibly posable. His mask looks so cool, and again, it's kind of a product of the time. You know, Takanuva was a tower of light. He had light powers. But this one, he was a tower of light and shadow. He had all sorts of edgy, cool powers.
He had a dark side.
Yeah. And you better believe that was cool as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
So cool. So, I don't know. I think the design is incredible. I think the pieces were great. And it was great to see that character returning and for them to make him look so awesome. That's kind of really all I wanted to talk about with him. I think he's just a really good like standout set for this year and just encompasses what I was seeking in a Bionicle character at the time and still am today. Actually, I bought one in America and I then since took it apart and used its pieces and other stuff. I then bought another one from you guys. Actually, I ordered it online and had it sent to Perth. So you have provided me with one.
There you go.
Yeah.
Very good.
Well, the store, not you know.
Yeah,
I'm sure
Daniel's personal collection.
I'm sure Garrett probably was the one who put it together. If we had
absolutely was.
Yeah, it's actually some pieces were not correct on it.
That was. I do remember you having an issue with it. We definitely made it right. For
Yes, you did. You did. You were very kind with that.
Daniel,
it's never an issue at Atlanta Brick Co. You should buy everything from them. Not sponsored.
Absolutely. Daniel, how do you feel about Takanuva?
I mean, I'll make it quick. I'm probably gonna pass on this. Here, I'll put it this way: I just chewed up a lot of my space in the time machine on that Duplo castle in the town.
Okay.
So I can't afford the space for this.
I would stretch the outer confines of the vehicle to fit this in because I love it. It's an evolution of the original.
Are we strapping stuff on the roof now?
I think so. Unfortunately, the box is going to get singed a little bit, but
I was gonna say that could be some damage
because it's got a connection to the original wave, which I really like. I think I could totally, see myself collecting this at some point. Even though this is now pretty expensive, 2008 money, absolutely. So I would get this. And that and a few of the other Bionicle themes, like niche things amongst the more modern, more recent sets, but this would definitely include for sure.
I got one of them. That's all that matters.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. I think I've approved both of them, at least one copy. Yeah. So
yeah, true. Well, I was hoping I'd get both of you with a Bionicle. We'll try.
He's at least he's letting it down easy, right?
Yeah, he was kind. Yeah,
that's good. All right, so this is a weird pick for me. It is a two-parter.
I've been eagerly awaiting this.
It's a two-parter like Ben's Exoforce foray earlier, but this is going to be Space Skulls and Star Justice. Let me get the set numbers for us. It's going to be 10192 for Space Skulls and 10191 for Star Justice. Two very unique, very interesting sets. Got 900, 800 pieces each. And 8 minifigures, 4 minifigures, so a bunch of figures with them. Space Skulls stands out to me a little bit more because of the vibrant red color and the skull motif on all the vehicles and such.
I'm telling Fazumi you said that.
You can tell him the bad guys are cool. You said this.
No, I have to agree, unfortunately.
So, but honestly, these go together as a pair. Really, they really do. They're kind of like made to go against each other. And these were both designed by two friends of ours in Peachlug. Even though Chris Gins has recently moved to South Carolina, he's still in Peachlug. But yeah, so Mark Sandlin and Chris Giddens, two amazing Lego AFOLs, been a part of the community for so long, huge inspiration to me. But
Fleebnork and Fazoom, respectively.
Exactly, on Instagram and TikTok and all that. They also do host Old Gray Bricks, friends of the channel.
That's right.
Go check them out on Mondays and Thursdays, I think. Thursday night at 7.
Both great guys.
So yeah, they got to design these in person in Billund, from what I gather. And so really cool experience for them back in the Lego Factory days. So this is kind of like the last of that kind of theme experience too. I think it was only a few years after that they were doing things. They kind of wrapped it up after then and started Lego Kuso after that. So so cool sets. Don't see a lot of kind of classic space inspired stuff. You saw Mars Mission, which is space, but it's not the same as this. This is a very unique vibe. So they're not super expensive. You can still find them for sale. But I don't have these yet, and I think I would definitely get a copy from 2008, and I would also get them to sign it, and because I know them now, I'd be like, hey, I've been saving these for years. I got the box, and it'd be perfect. So what do you guys think about Space Skulls and Star Justice?
I would absolutely pick these up because I'm, in fact, also currently trying to seek out some copies. Not very actively, but
in the back back of our minds. As
Passively, I would certainly pick these up if I saw them today and do the same thing. I would absolutely get them to sign them. It's just a very unusual thing from LEGO history, one probably not a lot of people know about, and
obscure.
So I always like to collect those types of things, and the fact that I know the people who design them now and I'm good friends with them, I think lends itself to that as well. The one drawback of these sets is that the minifigs were stickered because it was a factory set. I guess they didn't want to do any prints for these sets at the time. So, the parts being stickered is one thing, but the minifigure torsos were stickers, which is something we haven't seen since, probably like the 1970s.
Lego Castle,
early Castle and Policeman with the stickered torsos. So, the one drawback, but a very iconic niche sort of specialized thing, I would say. So
yeah, what do you think, Ben?
It's so cool. I was the same. I really wanted it when they came out. I think that was when I was sort of starting to like dip my toe in the Lego community and like learning what the word AFOL even mean. So I felt there was this part of me that was like, well, if I'm a Lego fan, I have to own this set. I don't know where that logic came from.
Little FOMO,
yeah. But yeah, I mean the fact that it's like a giant skull with tentacles as a spaceship. Yeah. It's so wonderfully original. Like I just don't feel like they do stuff like that today.
Yeah.
And I guess it was designed by an AFOL, but like some of the spaceship designs look like mocks that you would see on Flickr or Instagram or whatever. It's really well built. I was making the joke before that the Star Justice. I've been flying for hours. The Star Justice base at the time. It felt a little bit more revolutionary. Now it's a bit stock standard. Is using a burp, one of the big ugly rock pieces, with cheese slopes covering it up. And I remember as a kid being like, "That's peak Lego design. That's so good." Even though now I'm like, it's really not.
It's very basic now, but
oh, they've concealed the usage of a large chunky part. Wow.
No, it's just wonderful. Even you get these little like robot dudes that the minifigures can hang out with. There's a lot to love about.
A lot of side vehicles in that one.
Yeah, both of them are great.
Cool. Yeah, and it's weird. It's so weird having that personal connection with the designers. It's fun. So yeah. All right. Well, Daniel, what's the next one you want to bring up? This is the second to last one, right?
See. Yes, we are on round 5 here. So I'm going to talk about set 7623, the Indiana Jones Temple Escape. This is a very iconic one. So iconic, it's been remade almost directly. Like it has the same layout. It follows the same linear path with like sort of a curve and like a bend in the middle and having the backdrop. So I think it was interesting that they remade this one in almost the same basic format.
Yeah. You can't improve upon perfection, right?
Yeah, it lends itself to the design of the original. There's some other really iconic elements that appeared in this. That gray, I think it's technically a Duplo ball.
Yes.
I think is what they're classified as, which is worth, was it like $50 or $60
crazy.
on its own?
Yeah.
I don't remember who it was, but I remember somebody seeing that their Instagram bio was like proud owner of part number, whatever, light bluish gray Duplo ball. Or something.
It's that rare.
It has that much of a kind of cult following, but it was the perfect part for that brick boulder. I think that's something that maybe didn't work quite as well in the newer version of this set. But you had all of the great traps from that scene. You had some great minifigures getting Belloc, and you had the seaplane as well with Jock, which is something that we missed from the newer one. So having all of that, the metallic gold idol was basically perfect. I mean, for a long time, when the leaks for the new set came out, people were like, did they even change the mold for it? It almost looked identical because they just nailed it the first time. It was so perfect. Just a fantastic set, great play features. I had this one when I was a kid put together. Unfortunately not put together anymore, but could be one that I could see myself going back and partying together again. So what do you guys think about that one?
Yeah, I also bought it when I was a kid and played with it for ages. It's one of those perfect Lego sets that's just so easy and effortless to play with and so fun to play with.
You could remake the opening scene of that movie, like shot for shot.
Yeah. I think the pieces are also good. There was also, I remember reading one of the designers talking about it where they said that they were shocked that the old Lego dinosaur, the little baby dinosaur head, if you flipped it upside down, it suddenly turned into...
idle head,
Cool, and they used it on the outside and stuff. Which was just crazy. Everything about it was really, really, really good. Yeah, I think the new one is an improvement build-wise, but like, I don't know, maybe I'm just kind of blinded by nostalgia with it. But it's amazing how well that holds up. As the original version kind of thing. It's very good. Yeah.
Yep. I think this is the first set we've all had as kids.
Oh, great.
Because I also had that as a
be,
kid. It's one of my favorites. I also love the video game tie-in. Basically the same characters play the level.
Yeah.
And great play features. And yeah, like the new one, it's definitely more, got more substantial piece count. Yeah. But the concept is exactly the same. So it's like you can't improve upon perfection. It's great. So definitely would include
I know it also had a set-exclusive color for Mark's favorite part, the bamboo leaves.
It absolutely
in
does.
Dark bluish gray.
That's
was
right.
another
I
good
have
part
no
of that
idea
set.
why, but that's always been my favorite part, and I
Yep.
got them in dark bluish gray, so I have a couple of those, so it's great. So, yeah, I would definitely throw another one in there because mine is long gone, unfortunately. So I think I even sold the boulder here. It's one of the few things I've sold for. I think I sold it for like $50 a couple years ago.
It's an easy one to part with if you need some quick cash.
Yeah, just felt like, hey, it's just sitting there. So
Yep.
yeah, there you go. Oh, very cool. And then Ben, I think it's your second to last one here.
Well, the Mars mission theme is phenomenal. That was also weirdly one of the themes I kind of bought every set for. That's a lie. I bought every set from the first few waves. The next wave, not so much. But
Yeah,
still, that doesn't mean
lose track after a while.
Yeah. That was again another issue of not enough space traveling back to Australia. But anyway, the one of my favorites though is the MX-41 Switch Fighter, and it was essentially the closest thing you probably ever get to a Transformer. Well, we have Transformers now. That's still weird
That's
to say.
true.
Yeah. Basically, what it was is this cool little kind of like Mars buggy with 6 wheels on it, and you could kind of flip the wheels out, and it became like plane wings, and the wheels were like engines now. And I thought it was so cool as a kid. I'm still a Transformers fan today. I was much more back then. And I always dreamed of being able to get a Transformers set, which thankfully we have now. But this to me felt like the closest thing to that. And there's a lot of good play features this year, apparently, because I was obsessed with that. Just really, really good. Great set. Just awesome. So fun to play with.
Absolutely. I loved Mars Mission. Huge fan of the theme. This is one I really just slipped under my radar. I didn't even realize this was a thing. This is somehow just didn't even see it. So I got a number of the other ones, like the Recon Dropship. Didn't get the base, but a number of the medium-sized ones definitely collected and built scenes for. So I like looking at that. I'm like, have I even seen that one? I don't remember seeing it in the magazines.
I want to say all the other waves released, all the other sets in the wave released, and then this one and another one came out a few months later, or something.
Like a half wave kind of
It
thing.
was a weird thing.
But I would definitely include this because I'm a big fan of the theme. So
Sweet.
yeah, cool. Could always use more Mars Mission. Got to stomp down those aliens.
For sure. This was not one of the Mars Mission ones that I had. I also had sort of just a random smattering. I did have the big base with the pneumatic tubes, which was really cool. As a kid, I was never as much into vehicles as I was into bases, so that was probably a contributing factor to why I didn't pick this one up. I did have some that were vehicles. I think I had that big tank one with the sort of horizontal bubble cockpit and the 2 big arms. I don't remember.
Oh, that
the
was
name
good.
of it.
Yeah,
Crystal
that's cool.
Scavenger, maybe?
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, I might pick this one up just to get some additional Mars mission sets, but I think, again, the vehicles still don't do quite as much for me as the bases and things. But a very cool theme, for sure, from Mars Mission. Very iconic color scheme.
Yep.
And I
So
think,
a subtle unanimous then.
Yeah,
there you go. Yeah.
if there's spare room. If there's spare room, I'd throw this one.
Yeah, there's probably, like we said, squeeze it in there. It'll work.
Yeah.
But yeah, great set, Ben.
Sweet.
So this one that I'm picking out next would basically take up half the time machine, unfortunately. This is my final set. This is going to be Giant Chess, and I've talked about Giant Chess a couple times in previous videos past few months, and I'll reiterate that here for this video too. This is set number 852293. Weird number, but this is a Giant Chess set. It has 2,292 parts, 33 minifigures, and 1 gear, which is a giant leather-bound binder book for it to go in. I don't think we can find it here. There it is, yeah. So it's absolutely massive. It wouldn't really fit on the table here in front of us. It's that big, and it's phenomenal.
Looks like the Necronomicon or something.
Well, it's bigger than any book I've ever read. I'll put it that way.
Sure.
So, because this is on a gray base plate
with
expansions on the side. It's enormous, and I love this set because it's just you have the giant troll pieces as what looks like the bishops.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just massive, maximized to the limit. Has tons of dwarves, knights, skeleton warriors, trolls. It's just the ultimate expression of Lego Castle in chess. And I would probably strangle several people to get one. So if you know of anyone who has one that's for sale,
If you know of anyone who wants to get strangled.
Yes, exactly.
just
I've said on camera that I will strangle people for this set. But no, on Bricklink, you'll be very lucky to find one. First of all, secondly, they're like $3,000 or $4,000 on Bricklink. You can usually get them for maybe $1,200 to $1,500 on eBay if you find one that's in decent shape.
Yeah.
I've worked at Atlanta Brick Co. for going on 8-9 years,
Wow.
and I've never seen this come to the store. And I've seen like probably 3 or 4 sealed Cloud City sets come in. I've seen many Yellow Castles, stuff is also super rare, but never seen this. So that's kind of tells you how hard to find it is. So absolutely, I get at least one. I don't think I could fit 2 in the time machine, but I would get one. What do you guys think about giant chests? Is this too outrageous for you guys? How do you feel about it?
It's very cool for what it is. So again, I'll put the caveat: if we've got space, I'll probably fit one of these in there just for the minifigs alone.
on your lap.
For the value. Yeah, I mean, I think it is a little unwieldy as a chess set.
It's
probably.
too big, really.
Because most chess sets that Lego produces otherwise use 4x4 chess squares. This had to have been what, 6x6 or 8x8?
They're 6x6, yeah.
For each square. Yeah. So just unfathomably large for a chessboard.
It's massive.
And Lego produces so many chess sets. I think you could find one that would meet your fancy for a more reasonable size and price point than this.
You can fit a regular chess set in the open space between this chess set.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So,
so if you just want a chessboard, this is probably not the one for you. But great way to get a lot of figures, that's for sure. So for the retail value, I'm sure this was a steal.
Yeah. This was expensive back then. I want to say it was several $100s.
Yeah.
So you really weren't going to get unless you were crazy
Contributed to
for
the
it.
rarity
So,
for
yeah.
sure.
Ben, what do you think?
I remember seeing this in the Lego store on display. They'd like built it and had it in a glass container.
Oh, man.
And I stared at it for hours. I really wanted this. Honestly, you're like, if we have room in the time machine, I might forego every other pick just to fit that in the time
Wow,
machine.
there you go.
It's so good.
Financially, it would actually be worth it.
Yeah,
Oh, absolutely. Financially, yeah.
I mean, like, I remember thinking as a kid, like, I want to buy it, I want to play with it, as in play chess, but I also remember being like, I want to play with it, and I wanted to take it apart and build mocks with it, as I do with every set, but, like, I didn't realize it was 33 figures. I mean, it makes sense, but, like, that's just crazy.
Armies. Yeah.
Even, because I believe each of the 4 corners, they even built, like, a little kind of, like, almost like a little scene. Yeah, like looking at the pictures there.
Little
there's a
fortress.
That's what I was trying to figure out. So there's 32 chess pieces. Where does 33 end up coming in?
I mean, the picture's
There's
small on our
bonuses.
computer, but
There's a little skeleton on the
it's-
side
yeah,
and a rib
stuff
cage.
sort of just tacked on
There's
the
dwarves
sides.
mining over on the
That's right.
kingdom
That's right.
side.
There are little
So
like scenes.
there's basically little environments behind the big pieces. So it's just
little vignettes.
insane.
I want to say the piece even kind of linked together with the scene as
It
well.
at least like
Something, I
sets up
think.
next to it.
Yeah. It was to me, this reminds me of if you ever go in any of those like stores where they have chess sets for sale, and it's like, here's this golden, beautiful marble chess set that's like $2 million. To me, this is like the Lego equivalent of that.
Absolutely.
And like you said, we've had a lot of chess sets released recently. I wish Lego would do something similar because I reckon there would be a market for it. But I also reckon there'd be a market for castle sets, and clearly there isn't because Lego's not making them. Who knows? But I think it's such an original, beautiful concept and so well executed.
Absolutely.
And I remember the amount of times with these chess sets and other chess sets where people would army build with them, and I would also want to do that. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I missed the train on a lot of Fantasy era sets. This is the one I would, like I said, strangle people.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That was a good last pick, right?
There you go. Yeah,
Final round? Final round.
Final round.
All
What
right.
you got, Daniel?
My number 6, I already know what's going to happen with this one. This is set 10188, the UCS Death Star. This was the playset style, sort of dollhouse diorama kind of style, if you want to reduce it that way. But this is an iconic set. One that's so iconic, they basically directly remade it with only a few minor improvements and some updated minifigures. What year did that one come out? 2016?
Yeah.
So 8 years later, they re-released it almost brick for brick. Because I don't know how many years prior they would have.
We're 8 years
retired
later,
that
so
one.
we're due for another. But
Yeah. Well, I'm
We
sure
know
this
you
one.
watch Niels, CEO of Lego.
Yeah.
all
Do
the
it.
Lego executives watching this, just listen.
Jens, the leader of the Star Wars design team. I'm sure he's in there too. But anyway, so I don't know how many years this one would have actually been on shelves for. I'm sure it was for a while. So it probably only off shelves for a few years before they re-released it. But my distinct memory with this one, and Brick Mom VA can attest to this, is I still have a ratty, tattered summer 2008 Lego. It wasn't Shop at Home at that time, but the Lego catalog that I carried around with me the entire summer of 2008 to every swim meet, to every pool party, every whatever I was doing in summer 2008, pining over this glorious 2-page spread. My angel is the centerfold, is what I'm saying here. The Death Star, and just looking at all the play features, just waiting. I did not buy it in the summer of 2008. I believe I bought it in the fall of 2008 for the 2-day a year that the Lego retail store employees, as I mentioned, my older brother was working at the Lego store at the time, 2 days a year back then, the Lego discount would go from 30% to 50% for employees, which I believe employees now always get 50%, but there's like a cap on it. I'm not sure how it works now. I'd have to ask some of my friends
It's
who
rearranged now, but
work at retail stores. But that was very special back then. The 2 days a year, there was a 50% deal.
Right.
So my birthday in August of that year, I had asked all my friends for Lego gift cards. So the retail price of this set was $400 in 2008, which is crazy.
A lot of money.
Mid-recession. My mom told me on no uncertain terms that I had to buy this with my own money as a 10 or 11-year-old or whatever I was.
That's hard to scrounge up when you're 10.
So out of the $400, 50% off day. That brings it down to $200. And then I got $100 worth of gift cards for my friends. So I paid $100 in cash, and I walked out of the store with the UCS Death Star in... I'm trying to remember how they packaged it back then.
Big bag?
It was probably in a brown cardboard box. I think the store might have even given me like a dolly or something to wheel it out to my car at the time. So probably spent a week putting the thing together because I probably would have been back in school at that point and was only working on it in the evenings. And I have never taken this set apart. This is still a prominent part of my collection, still fully put together. Maybe a little dusty. I have dusted it on several occasions, which I don't do with a lot of my other sets. But I've loved this one ever since. Fantastic play features. I mean, you had the trash compactor, the lasers which you could rotate and pivot up and down, Darth Vader's TIE fighter, and about as small as you can fit a minifigure in it that could take off and fly, and elevators and cannons that could shoot, and the scene with Obi-Wan powering down the laser. I mean, it's every scene on the Death Star you could possibly want, about all the minifigures you could possibly want. 24 minifigures is just an insane set. I still have such a passion for this set, and I know you do too as well.
Yes.
So why don't you take the reins from here?
Exactly
Feel free to chime in with
you.
your experience.
Yeah, I'm the same as you. Mine's still built. It's a little. I like modified it a bit as I played with it and stuff. So it could use a rebuild. It could also use a rebuild because it has so much dust on it. It is caked. And I think I've tried cleaning it. It's just there's like however many years of dust on that.
At this point, I probably need to take mine apart and give it a bath.
That's my plan.
As well.
Yeah.
Give it a little TLC that it deserves.
Yeah. Weirdly, I keep having similar experiences to you. I also had the magazine and stared at it for ages.
Yeah.
I remember, I think my mum was in Woodfield Mall in Chicago at the time.
Mm-hmm.
She was in Macy's looking at clothes and stuff. And I was just sitting there staring at that in the magazine. I think my mum came back. She took too long or something. Was like, "Oh, sorry." I'm like, "I don't care. I was looking at this stuff."
Well, what?
Although I think I didn't buy mine until 2009. I think because I bought it back in Australia, in which it was a lot more money there.
I'm sure the release was delayed too. It might not have even been over there.
Yeah, but I think as well because it was expensive and it was 2008. We just were waiting for the right time and stuff. But I think we got it on sale. I think we got like 20% off or something.
There you go.
But it's a perfect Lego set. There's so much playability with it. I would argue I've probably played with it for like 100 hours or something. It's
There's so much you can do with it. And like you said, with modifying it, I remember there were several Christmases, I think, where I decorated the whole thing for Christmas. I was putting like little like Santa and reindeer and stuff on it too. And who knows what else. So a lot of fun to be had with this set. The detention cell too. Gosh, I forgot about that. Oh my gosh, so much fun to be had with this set. I think it's really cool the way they've done this. If they ever make another one, I would like to see them do something like this where it has an interior and then maybe removable panels for the exterior of it or something like that. I think is what a lot of people would like to see. So.
Yeah, super iconic set. I unfortunately didn't have the same experience that you guys did. This wasn't the one I was pining over. I was looking at other stuff, probably the castle section. But this is a really cool set. It's an icon of Lego Star Wars, just really good. And it's the second version is basically the exact same thing, posed the exact same way. way. They didn't want to change too much except update the faces on the figures and a few things.
They might have tweaked a few of the play features or something to make them work better mechanically, but other than some minor cosmetic changes, I don't think it was too different.
Exactly. This is definitely an expensive set now. It's, several $100s more than it was back then, but it's actually cheaper than the second version, which is outrageously expensive. So if you wanted to circle back and get this is the better one to get, I think, especially with the kind of historic, classic-looking figures. So
I'm gonna guess, the bigger reason is because the second version had the more modern figures with the pupils. I actually like that this set came with a lot of the figures with. Well, it had the nougat skin tone. They had the just the black circles for the eyes without the pupils, and I honestly like Star Wars characters better that way. It has more nostalgia for me for sure, and to get so many exclusive characters because there was such a short overlap between that nougat skin color and the pupilless eyes. I mean, we got Grand Moff Tarkin was an exclusive, and I'm sure several of these other figures were exclusive as well in that format.
Yeah, for sure. But I think I would try to squeeze one in, but
it's a real big box.
Giant chest is first, then this one, then others. So, but I think I would say probably.
As somebody who always saved boxes, even as a kid, because my parents, taught me well to save boxes because they might be valuable some way. The biggest mistake and the biggest regret that I have was we stored them in the attic, and I would flatten all of the smaller boxes and put them into the bigger boxes.
Right.
So because I put all of the smaller boxes into the bigger boxes like this one, this box is basically destroyed at this point. I think it's held together with like masking tape and just
stretched and shattered.
It's pretty bad. It's heavily worn, unfortunately.
There we go.
Big regret of mine.
Well, on that sad note, we move on to Ben's next set.
The final pick.
What is the final set,
We'll
Ben?
All right. So I said before that's the set I played with the most. This is the set I played with the next most.
Yeah.
It's an Agents set.
Wow.
This is Mobile Command Center. So this is decked out with play features. Like just looking at it here, you had the little light up brick had the little PowerPoint presentation. You had like missiles at the top and satellites. You had a detention cell. You had a boat you could pull out, a car you could pull out, a jet you could pull out, an enemy jet to go with it. There were missiles at the front. I'm not even done. There's a jet ski. Like, there's so much. Exactly. I haven't even said everything. I remember buying this, and 3 days later I was like, oh, I'm still playing with this. I haven't stopped. It's brilliant.
So much to do.
Yeah.
It's great. So.
And it's so good that Lego went, let's just basically remake this again. Not as good, but still for Ultra Agents with the black and like trans green version. This is amazing. For decent enough pieces, great play features, a really nice looking truck. It's so good. I'm probably going to buy one because there's one here right now.
There we go.
There you go.
Yeah,
We've got one parked over there. So,
Yeah.
A great set. We actually talked about this in detail on our Agents, theme comparison video, and this is one of the highest. This is what really sealed the deal as Agents being the best.
Definitely.
So a phenomenal set. I think I would try to sneak one in because I really like that jet because it was in Lego Worlds and it was the most damage-dealing vehicle you could be in, so it was awesome. But what about you, Daniel? What do you think?
I'm glad you saved this one for last because, again, I also had a very similar shared experience with this set, just in how cool it was. I remember my birthday usually would coincide with my family's beach trip. So they would bring the gifts and they would give them to me, and they were almost always Lego, and they would usually tell me that I couldn't build them until we got home because they would be hard to transport home with all the beach stuff and whatever in it. But my mom let me build this one at the beach because it was so darn cool, and I guess because when it was all put together it was relatively compact and would transport well. Just such a fantastic set. So many vehicles, like you mentioned. So many cool play features. The little projector with the light brick was one of the coolest things that I remember. There was like a little jail cell with like laser bars that you could put them in. But just such a cool set. And so many parts went into like the actual vehicle portion of it and like the truck cab, which didn't really have that many play features compared to the rest of the thing. So just such a great set. Mine has been since scattered to my parts collection, so I think I would absolutely pick up another one of these in box so I could play with it again.
There you go.
Just very cool.
One very quick note. You mentioned the Lego magazines and stuff. I remember one for the Agents magazine. It might have been the following year, it might have been this year, where whoever designed the magazines wasn't paying attention and they swapped out the female torso and the male torso on one of the characters. And I remember as a kid being like, I found it. I've
Gotcha.
uncovered the mistake, but
A
it's very
rare
funny.
error among Lego advertising.
Yeah.
Not that rare. I feel like
It's more
stuff
common now.
Stuff like that happens.
Yeah. Jedi Bob's lightsaber comes to mind from the latest short video that they
Oh
did for it.
gosh, yeah. Everybody
Anyway.
was ragging on him for that.
Oh, but yeah, 2008, what a year. I think we can safely say this is like, there's other themes we haven't even really touched on that we wish we could cover more. It's awesome. So yeah, definitely love this year. Definitely love all these sets. I can't wait to go get my giant chess. Thank you guys for your thoughts on all these cool sets. This is
Absolutely. This might be the best one of these we've done.
I think so. Like just the amount of like this was my childhood moments, So wow, really cool. Well, thank you all so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and please go check out Ben Cossy's channel and subscribe to him. He's got some great videos, and we will see you on the next one because we do lots of live streams and videos just like this all the time. So we'll see you then. Bye bye.